billion to the local economy annually. It produces the second largest number of college graduates. It supports 1 out of every 28 jobs in Maricopa County through the activities of its colleges and students. As we look ahead, our colleges, our students, and the state are positioned for exciting new opportunities. Investments in emerging industries like semiconductor manufacturing, healthcare, new programs in green technologies, and the expansion of virtual reality and simulation demonstrates our commitment to providing the cutting-edge, relevant workforce training that industry demands. Now I'd like to introduce our Chancellor, Dr. Stephen Gonzalez, to share more about the programs and training the colleges that support the energy infrastructure and industry today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Narini. Welcome everyone to Gateway and today's town hall, and a special welcome to Deputy Secretary Turk and Governor Hobbs. Thank you for being here today. The programs at Maricopa Community Colleges produce graduates ready for careers in the construction trades and energy-focused industries. These jobs are in critical sectors such as HVAC, plumbing, welding, electrical, water management, and other fields that support the construction and manufacturing of clean energy home and buildings. The workforce training programs provided by community colleges and the energy efficiency rebate program that will be discussed today supports a healthy economic trajectory for community college students in Maricopa County and throughout Arizona. Now I'd like to welcome Governor Hobbs to the podium to kick off today's program. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am so thrilled to join you all today for this announcement and town hall. And Deputy Secretary Turk, it is my pleasure to welcome you and your team here to Arizona, and we're so happy you could be a part of this today. Here in Arizona, we are not strangers to the heat, and we have always risen to the occasion and the challenge, protected our neighbors, built a sustainable and thriving state. And today marks the next step in that long history. Today is about celebrating the once-in-a-generation federal investments here in Arizona that are benefiting all Arizonans, putting money back in Arizonans' pockets, and addressing the extreme challenges we face from the heat here in our state. We are taking advantage of this opportunity and creating jobs, lowering costs, and investing in renewable energy. Creating a safe and healthy Arizona for everyone means that your zip code or socioeconomic status doesn't determine your ability to stay cool and safe during the summer months here in Arizona. Some of the action that we've taken from my office is created the state's first ever extreme heat preparedness plan, appointed the nation's first ever statewide chief heat officer, expanded access to cooling centers across the state with 2 in the downtown Phoenix area, deployed 6 across the Department of Corrections, and several others in local jurisdictions throughout the state. Today, we are adding to those efforts with help from our federal partners and launching the first phase of the Efficiency Arizona program. This program, the first phase involves the home electric appliance rebate program, and as summers get hotter and cooling systems become more strained in order to provide the cooling homes, hundreds of families are going to experience AC malfunction or outage, and for many families, replacing or getting these systems fixed is out of reach financially. When these systems go out in the middle of the hot summers, they need to be replaced as soon as possible. And it's important that doing that doesn't put families in a financial hole. For many families, replacing an AC system is just out of reach. And through this first phase of Efficiency Arizona, we're helping families replace and repair their ACs, lowering costs and keeping them safe in the extreme heat. These dollars are closing the cost gap that could otherwise prevent households from getting their systems fixed. We have partnered with Wildfire and other local community action agencies that have been on the ground doing this work a long time, not just helping with home appliance repair and replacement, but many other programs that assist families in need. These funds are going to help continue this important life-saving work for those who need it most across the state of Arizona. And I'm so proud that Arizona is at the front of the pack getting this program off the ground. In tandem with the Efficiency Arizona program, which again is focused on the AC repair and replacement, we're launching the Clean Energy Hub website, which provides information for all of the opportunities that are out there for consumers in Arizona. These programs are great, but if people don't know about them, they're not helpful. So this website will be a one-stop shop that provides information about this new program, as well as helping Arizonans connect with all of the incentives for energy efficiency, rooftop solar, electric vehicles, and more across the state. And it will help Arizonans from all income levels learn about the resources available to them. It's not going to be stopping hot here anytime soon, and cost should never be a barrier for Arizonans staying safe and healthy. And it is important part of my administration to make things as affordable as possible for Arizonans, and this program is a critical piece of that. We're going to keep doing what we can to make Arizona more affordable and safe for every Arizonan. I'm so grateful to Secretary Granholm and Deputy Secretary Turk for their leadership on this issue, for providing so much support to make sure that Arizona could get this program off the ground as quickly as possible. We're the second state to do so, and this Department of Energy's commitment to renewable energy and clean energy is so critical to our efforts here. And I just also want to recognize and thank our partners at Wildfire and the other community action programs who have heeded our call to action and have already raised over $3 million to support emergency repair and replacement programs. This is a true demonstration of partnership and collaboration, and I look forward to that continued collaboration. And I'm so excited about this program and what it means for Arizonans. And with that, I'm so thrilled to hand it over to Deputy Secretary Turk. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Governor, and it's just terrific to be with you all. I'm not used to getting standing ovations when I speak, so I really appreciate that as well. Let me just thank the Governor in particular and your phenomenal team, Governor, for your leadership, for your partnership with us in the Department of Energy, but throughout the Biden-Harris administration as well. I don't need to tell you all this. You see this every day here in Phoenix and throughout Arizona. Arizona is a clean energy powerhouse and only becoming more so, not just at a national level, but an international level. If I can brag a little bit on what the governor has been able to do, and of course we've been very eager to help support the governor's leadership, we've seen over 21 new and expanded manufacturing facilities in clean energy just in Arizona, just over the last few-year period of time. That ends up being $7.7 billion of investment, private investment, that has been incented, encouraged by tax incentives, grant programs, other kinds of tools that we've got at the national level. So thank you, Governor, to you and your team for being such a leader in this space. Let me also thank Gateway Community College. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Chancellor, for the introduction. Thank you for hosting this event. And even more importantly, thank you for connecting students to these clean energy jobs of the present and of the future as well. We are experiencing a clean energy jobs revolution in our country as well. We just put out a report yesterday highlighting energy jobs all across our country. These are 2023 numbers, the very latest numbers, comprehensive numbers from employers all around the country. And what we saw is clean energy jobs are actually increasing at twice the rate of jobs increasing across our country. And what we're seeing is Arizona there is an incredible leader as well. Those clean energy jobs are increasing much, much faster even than that doubling rate across the country. And Gateway Community College playing such an important role making sure we're connecting those students with those long-lasting jobs of the future. Today, couldn't be more excited to be at this event with the governor and launching part one of Arizona's home energy rebates program. And I thought I'd just take a little time here, and we've got a few slides as well, just to run through why would we create this rebates program in the first place? What are we trying to do with this effort here in Arizona and all across the country? And then I want to put this in a broader frame of all the other things that we're trying to do in the Biden-Harris administration, using these historic tools that we've got to lower energy costs for folks all across the country, certainly here in Arizona, but across the country as well. All right, so first, why did we create these programs? I think there's a really simple explanation, and the governor got at this. We have had many of our Americans, unfortunately wealthier Americans, who've been able to afford some of these cutting clean energy technologies for quite a few years. Think solar panels, think heat pumps. A lot of those technologies have some upfront costs associated with them that makes it very difficult for all Americans to afford those technologies. What happens is once you make those investments in solar, once you make those investments in energy efficiency and heat pumps, you save an awful lot of money. But you need some investment, you need some help up front, especially if you are budget constrained and budget limited. So that's really where the rebates piece fits in. And we're really trying to flip the script. I think the president, our vice president have spoken so eloquently, our secretary Granholm, about why we need to make sure these clean energy technologies that are helping to save our planet are also available for everybody, that they're just, they're affordable, and everybody can take advantage of it, especially those who need it the most, especially those who have a significant energy burden. Right now, about 1 in 10 Arizonans has a significant energy burden right now. They're paying way too much as a percentage of their income for energy. Let's do something about that, and that's what these programs are about. So let me offer up 3 different programs here that we're involved in. Let's see if we can get the slides to work. The clicker is not working. Oh, they are working. They're just not working. All right, the slides, they're there on the sides, not the big screen. All right, let me back up now since I clicked it a few times. Sorry about that. All right, how do we lower energy bills? What are the tools that we've got in the tool belt? The first tool that we've had for quite a few years, we've actually had for quite a few decades in the government, is weatherization, the weatherization program. For some of you who've been involved in this space, you're probably quite familiar with this. This is a program specifically focused on lowest income families paying entirety in terms of efficiency upgrades, free basic efficiency upgrades, saving an awful lot of money. What we've seen with the Inflation Reduction Act was a 20-fold increase, a one-time, as the governor so forcefully put, a one-time increase in the amount of funding that we've been able to do for weatherization for Arizonans. And this is helping families in particular with incomes of less than $62,400 per year. So that's a tool we've had. We've expanded that tool. We've made it more available going forward. Another powerful tool, and this is a new tool. We've had some tax credits, tax incentives. This is available for everybody. This is available for everyone who wants to take advantage of these technologies. But what we've seen in the last few years with the Inflation Reduction Act is making this available across a whole range of clean energy technologies. Think solar panels, of course, but there are a number of other efficiency upgrades that can be paid for and helped out. And what you get is 30% off, 30%, a third or so of your cost being reimbursed through the tax code. What we've seen just over the last few years is these have been made available, and these tax incentives are now made available through the Inflation Reduction Act for 10 years, and in some cases even longer than that, as opposed to what we've had in the past, where it's been year to year, you're not sure if those tax credits are available. What we've seen is over, and I want to get this number exactly right, 3.4 million American families, just over the last couple years at the Inflation Reduction Act, claiming over $8 billion in residential clean energy and home energy efficiency IRA tax credits. And I'm proud to say, too, while these tax credits are available to everybody, what we've seen is over half have had household incomes of less than $100,000. So even these tax credits, even though available for everybody, everybody can benefit from it, we're actually seeing a significant amount of folks who need it need it the most. All right, and then what we're here to talk about today is rebates. This is another incredibly important tool in our tool belt to lower energy costs for Americans all across our country. $9 billion that was provided thanks to the President, Vice President's leadership and folks in Congress, and I want to call out your senators and others who voted for these pieces of legislation. And this is working with states, working with tribes, working with territories, and helping them set up their own programs. This is meant to be a tool that's targeted towards a particular needs in Arizona, particular needs in other states, so every state can customize that going forward. So what does that mean for Arizona? What that means is $76 million. This is federal taxpayer money. Thank you all for being federal taxpayers, but that's $76 million coming back to Arizona. And that's just half of what will be coming to Arizona. It's actually $153 million under the two parts of the rebate program. And what we're here to celebrate is the very first part of that rebates plan going forward. And appropriately so, and I want to credit the governor and her leadership and Wildfire and a number of others who've been working on this issue, certainly here in Arizona for years. The first phase of this rebates program is focused on emergency heat pump installations. And I want to make very clear for those who don't follow clean energy technologies as closely as some of us energy nerds, heat pumps don't just heat, right? Heat pumps cool. Heat pumps are incredibly efficient at cooling. In fact, they're 50% more efficient than some other technologies. That's where you get the cost savings, the huge amount of cost savings. And this program is literally saving lives in addition to saving money. And really, again, credit the governor and the state's leadership along those lines. And the rebates can pay up to 100% of the cost of those energy efficient heat pumps. Again, heat pumps that cool as well. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to spread the word. Just as the governor said, efficiencyarizona.com is the place where everybody in Arizona can go to see if you are eligible for this first tranche of funding. And stay tuned, because this is a first tranche of funding. This is the tip of the spear in terms of what's coming with that rebates going forward. I want to call out and thank Wildfire and other organizations who are part of the effort here very directly in this first tranche. And I want to thank everybody in advance for spreading the word. We were just talking ahead of this event, and the governor, I think, put this incredibly well. If people don't know about these programs, if people don't know about these opportunities, then they're not going to benefit from it. They're not going to benefit from those cost savings and improvements in their own lives. And so that's what we all need to focus on going forward. All right, so let me just try to put some numbers on this. Of course, every citizen, every consumer in Arizona and across the country is going to get benefits differently, right? Some are going to take advantage of weatherization. Some are going to take advantage of solar panels. Some are going to take advantage of energy efficient heat pumps. But what I wanted to do is just give you an example of the level of cost savings that we're talking about here. This is not just a few dollars here or there. This is a big, big deal. So weatherization alone, the average for those who apply for weatherization is saving $372. And as it says there on the slide, this is annual savings. So you get that $372 saved once you get these improvements made in your house every year of $372, and that's an average. Some save a little bit more, some save a little bit less. With a heat pump, we just talked about why you're saving money on a heat pump. It's more energy efficient. That ends up saving $300 per year. That is a big, big deal in and of itself, but this all adds up, of course. If you have a heat pump water heater, then you're saving an additional, on average, $550. And then if you take advantage of that tax credit, that 30% tax credit, that's an additional $1,600. And again, this is per year. So what you see there is, if you are able to take advantage, and want everyone to take advantage of as much as they possibly can, you're talking almost $3,000 per year that could be spent on all sorts of other things, whether you're spoiling your grandkids, whether you're taking a vacation, whether you're buying groceries, other kinds of necessities in life as well. But don't just take my word on it. We've got a little video that shows Americans all across our country and what kind of cost savings that they're seeing. So if we can go to the video, please. So whoever's, do I need to click it? Okay.
gas bills that were more than my house payment.
She was literally, I teased her, she was trying to heat the neighborhood. The ductwork in the attic was disconnected, she had no insulation.
So would you recommend weatherization to other people?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, it's a game changer.
We decided we want to move to induction. It's just, it's more efficient. It's,
Yeah.
it's safer for the kids. And yeah, we love it.
Now, you have more than one heat pump.
Correct, yeah. So this summer we installed a central heat pump.
Why did you need another heat pump?
We wanted to stop using our oil.
How much you're saving now as a result of the heat pumps?
Yeah, it's about $3,500 a year that we're saving.
I noticed my bill, it was like, it usually run like 180-ish.
So you started at 180 and you ended at 86?
Yes.
So it could have more than in half?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's amazing.
Reasons that my energy bills are as low as they are is that I also have rooftop solar on this old house. So for example, last month in September into October here in Wisconsin, my utility company owed me $30. And that's including the powering of my electric vehicle.
Electric bill down from like $210 to under $70.
Wow, cut more than
Yes.
in half.
Yes, ma'am. Water bill, because of the work they did, from $120, $170. Now I'm paying below $60.
Oh my gosh.
Gas
That's
bill, because our heat is central heat and air, but the heat port is controlled by gas.
Yeah.
From $120, and we're down below $70.
Oh my gosh.
Even in the winter.
So that about says it all. Let me just conclude with a big, big thank you. This is what it's all about, right? Helping real people all across our country, and we're going to see more and more of this happening. It's been one of the best parts of this job to have a chance, just like you saw our secretary going around and seeing what this means for real people's lives all across our country. So let me thank you all. Thank the governor and her team for being at the tip of the spear in terms of using this rebates money. I want to thank you all who are federal taxpayers and voters, right? Stuff like this doesn't happen unless folks vote, and we get these kinds of programs and we get these kinds of tools in the tool belt. And then let me conclude with a thanks to spread the word. It doesn't do anything, as the governor said, if we have these tools and people aren't able to take advantage of it. A lot of that will frankly just be word of mouth, right? Once you see these kinds of stories, once you see these kinds of cost savings, people are going to talk. But we need to accelerate that. We need to make sure that folks are able to take advantage of this as quickly as they possibly can. So thank you in advance for spreading the word and being part of the team that makes sure that we have so many folks all across our country take advantage of these phenomenal historic resources. All right, so I think we'll have the governor come back up here and Lauren as well, and then we'll have a little bit of a fireside chat without a fire. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, yes, the mic is already on. Well, good morning. I am Lauren Casantini. I am the founder and CEO of Resource Innovations, and we are a women-led and majority-woman energy transformation company. We are incredibly honored to be the lead implementation firm that's a partner to the Efficiency Arizona program and assist the Governor's Office of Resiliency in launching what is going to be an incredibly innovative and impactful program for the people of Arizona. Resource Innovations that I founded is built on a commitment to addressing climate change and energy equity, which is why we're so excited about this particular program for the Efficiency Arizona. It's going to promote clean energy and provide significant cost savings across all Arizonans. So at this point in the session here, we're going to have a panel discussion, and I have some questions that have been collected through this town hall, and going to start with Governor Hobbs and then move on to Deputy Secretary Turk. So Governor Hobbs, can you talk us through why we're prioritizing heat pump installations in this first phase? State work so far helping to ensure Arizonans have access to AC, especially amid record heat, and how the rebates build upon and expand access to heat pumps that Deputy Secretary discussed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you kind of answered the question. We are in the middle of a record hot summer, our second record hot summer in a row. That's not changing anytime soon. We have to prepare for these hotter temperatures down the road, and helping Arizonans who need it the most be able to replace their ACs when they go out, because they never go out in the winter. They go out when it's as hot as it is now, and that's a safety and health risk to them, especially if they can't afford replacement. And so it was really critical to prioritize this part of the program. We know the rebates are going to be available for a lot of other types of appliances, but this is really the biggest need right now. We already had a partnership with Wildfire, so it was, we were able to leverage that, and getting the word out is really critical, and that's, we have those relationships in place already to do that as well. And so really pairing this new rebate program with existing resources was a priority, and making sure that Arizonans had what they needed when they needed it most was a priority.
Thank you very much. Next, Deputy Secretary. So this question came from Adrian Ruiz of Razo Development Fund. Are there any other planned investments beyond the IRA to promote consumer energy efficiency upgrades? And it's a three-part question here. So how can they be made more affordable? And what additional support is being contemplated for consumers, i.e. homeowners who need infrastructure upgrades to implement energy efficiency upgrades?
Well, thanks, Lauren, for all that you've done in your phenomenal career, and thanks, Adrian, for the question. I went through some of the tools that we've got in our tool belt, expanded tool belt, thanks to the historic legislation by the President and the Vice President. We've not only got the rebates, which is a big deal, and this is just the front end with the energy efficient heat pumps on an emergency basis. There'll be a lot of opportunities for consumers once the other parts of that program get rolled out later this year. And again, thank Arizona for being so forward-leaning and really out in the front with other states as well. We've got the weatherization program and that 20-fold increase. That is a program that's been around for a while beyond the Inflation Reduction Act. But when you get an Inflation Reduction Act that goes from an annual budget for Arizona for weatherization of a few $1 million, and then all of a sudden you have $50 million in that one tranche, that's a big deal, and that allows an awful lot more people to be impacted in a positive way on that front. The tax credits is a really big deal. Having those tax credits have the certainty associated with them. Having the folks who know how to do it, the contractors, the union folks know how to do that. The workforce piece is such an important part of that, and I know we've got some leaders here from our union, relevant unions here. But those tax credits are incredibly important. And while those tax credits were expanded and extended in the Inflation Reduction Act, I think there's opportunity to get even more impact out of that. We mentioned the $8 billion that's already been impacted in terms of people around the country. The other part I'd reference as well is we spend a lot of funding and a lot of time and attention on innovation. We've got such progress that we've seen on reducing solar costs and improving heat pump technology, but there's all sorts of other clean energy technologies that can really help people reduce their costs as well. And that's something we're continuing to really push the envelope on as well, day in and day out, year in and year out.
Yeah, thank you very much. And hopefully some of you got a chance to see the benefication lab out front that demonstrates some of those technologies. So Governor Hobbs, this question comes from Brett Fanshaw of Solar United Neighbors. How can Arizona best capitalize on federal programs like Solar for All to meet our shared goals around saving money, energy, and supporting a local workforce and making progress on equity goals like Justice 40?
Great question, and I'm so glad you asked that, because obviously solar energy is a critical piece of the renewable energy puzzle, and putting money back in the pockets of Arizonans, making energy more affordable for all Arizonans. And as the Deputy Secretary talked about in his remarks, often technologies like solar is out of reach for people who can benefit the most from the cost savings they will get. And so I'm very excited about the Solar for All program, which we are benefiting from millions of dollars in investment here in Arizona, which will put solar energy within reach of lower income Arizonans and renters as well. That's going to help them save huge amounts of money on their utility bills down the road. Arizona is getting $270 million for this program, so we're really excited to launch it. It's going to help meet our state's renewable energy goals, as well as, again, putting money back in the pockets of Arizonans, especially those who need it the most.
Thank you so much. Deputy Secretary, so this comes out, if they don't know, they're not going to be able to participate, that you would recommend us replicating here in Arizona.
Yeah, absolutely, and thanks, Diane, for the question and all the good work that PERG does. So one of the things we did when we got all this extraordinary funding and new tools in our tool belt, it ended up being $100 billion of grant money, just to give you a sense of scale of what we're talking about with this historic legislation, of which $9 billion is the rebates program that we're celebrating here today. We hired up 1,000 new people, talented folks from all over the country, and we created a whole new office called the State and Community Energy Program Office. We've got the leader of that office, Keisha, here, and Michael, who's a key leader, especially on the rebates piece to it. And the reason we did that is to make sure that as we're seeing innovation happening, including in the outreach side, I thought the mobile lab that we saw as we were coming in here, for those who've had a chance to see it on their way in and certainly check it out on the way out, is just perfect. It's a perfect kind of way to get into a neighborhood, right, meet people where they are, and show them what this technology really is, right? Like, if you're just going about your daily life and maybe you've heard, oh, the solar thing sounds great, or heat pumps, does it work in the cold? Does it work to cool my home too? It's one thing to kind of hear it here and there. It's another thing to actually see it and talk to someone who's a real expert in this space. So I think the kind of touch it, talk to it, make it real, go in communities where folks are, is such a big part of the equation. And our State and Community Energy Program Office has a toolkit that we're offering up and working with states to say, hey, there's this state that's doing this great thing. You might want to think about that and learn from each other in real time as we go forward. So much of life is execution, and so much of execution is accelerating what's going to happen anyway, right? Like, people are going to save money anyway with these technologies. But boy, wouldn't it be better if people are able to take advantage of it now instead of waiting 5 years, 10 years, and all the money that they could save. So we're trying to spread the word and work with partners all across the country.
Wonderful. And the benefication lab, I think, is going to be at about a dozen locations throughout Arizona over the coming months. Just another exciting and innovative part of this particular program. Governor Hobbs, just in case folks aren't familiar with organizations like Wildfire and don't know what a community action agency is, what should people most in need who may have had an AC breakdown know about what community action agencies are and how they have been critical partners with the state in providing more access to ACs and heat pumps amid climate-exasperated heat?
Yeah, so not only are organizations like Wildfire critical partners as we launch our new Efficiency Arizona program, but they have been incredibly important partners in this space for a very long time, providing really mitigating the impact of both poverty and extreme heat in our state, getting families who need it the most access to resources that are going to help them, essential services that include not only the kind of rebate programs we're talking about, but emergency financial assistance, utility bill and mortgage assistance, and access to food and nutrition programs. They're critical partners, and they have the experience and the relationships in the communities to help get the word of mouth out about this new program. And also, as we look at really leveraging these new federal investments, the work they've already done has been incredibly helpful in being able to do that. So we're really excited to continue partnering with them. And we know that with this new program and coupled with our one-stop shop website to get the information out, they're going to be really critical in making sure that Arizonans across the state are benefiting from these programs.
Great, thank you. I know our team is so excited about working with Wildfire and the launch of this program. Deputy Secretary Turk, we have a question here from Eder Diaz Martinez from Green Latinos. How can the DOE and Treasury ensure that federal investments in clean energy and climate initiatives, such as those from IRA, are equitably distributed to frontline communities, particularly Latino communities in regions like the Southwest, including Arizona? And what mechanisms are in place to hold state and local governments accountable for the equitable distribution?
Well, thanks for the question, and let me thank everybody who's involved in making sure that we are providing the kind of benefits and the kind of resources equitably across our country. I feel incredibly proud to be part of an administration that is living and breathing this and making sure this value is instilled in everything that we're doing, whether it's the Justice 40 commitments or all the other tools and mechanisms we're using. So let me give you a few examples of how we're doing that. One is by some of the existence of these very programs. The rebates program is a particularly good example where much of that money is designated in particular for those who need it the most, right? And rightfully so, in my opinion, because those are the folks with that energy poverty, with that energy burden. And if we can have these cutting-edge clean energy technologies help them save money, that's what we should be doing. So the rebates program is one example of that, but we've got many other examples of programs specifically targeted at those who need it the most. We also talked about the tax credits, which are available to everybody. But what you see is a lot of those tax credits, including for manufacturing, you actually get a bonus if you go into a low-income community or if you go into an energy community that has powered us in the past but needs a little bit of help to transition in terms of those jobs from the technologies, traditional technologies, energy technologies, to those clean energy technologies of the future. So those values are actually built into the tax code, giving a little extra funding to make the economics work for those folks in those communities that need it across the country. That's just a few examples. The other thing I'd say, and maybe this is an ask for folks to join our Department of Energy team or think about public service, including in the state, is programs don't run by themselves. Programs run because we have phenomenal talent that we're able to hire and be public servants, implement these programs, design these programs. We've got Keisha and Michael, and we've got such other terrific examples of that from our Department of Energy team. So encourage you, you may be an entrepreneur, you may want to be in the private sector, you may want to be in a nonprofit, but would ask you to consider being part of the government, part of whether it's a local government, the state government, or the national government, because we can only do these programs in the way you want us to do these programs if folks make careers or at least a few years in public service. So thanks for those who made that decision, and thanks for considering being part of the team.
Thank you so much. That concludes the questions that have been submitted. So I want to thank you, Governor Hobbs, Deputy Secretary Turk, for just a very exciting launch to this program. We are all excited to get out there and have impact. There's urgent need, and we're going to go do it. Also, before we let everyone go, I want to say a very big thank you to all of the participants, all of the attendees, Department of Energy for hosting, the Office of Resiliency, and then also, of course, to the Gateway Community College for this incredible facility, and also all the great development of future employees that was discussed. Check out the Benefication Lab outside before you go, and thank you all for joining.